All right, guys, what up? We're about to enter the wonderful world of slope. Yay, go us. All right, let's get into it. All right, first things first, positive slope. So positive slope simply goes up. Wow, that is a lot smaller than I anticipated. It goes up from left to right, just like so. All right, so I'm going to write that over here actually. I'm going to zoom in. So it goes up from left to right. All right, so it goes up from left to right. So think about, you got a little person. I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use gray, dark gray. All right, you got a little person, you know what I'm saying? He can only go from left to right because we're playing a linear game, you know what I'm saying, from like back in the 80s. And then he just kind of going up the stairs. And look at me, I'm going up the stairs. All right, cool. So he is going up the stairs. Cool. Negative slope. Let's use that. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. All right, negative slope is, you guessed it, you're going down from left to right. So, again, going down from left to right, just like that. And again, we have our little friend here. So he's made it to the top of the slide. And again, he can only go from left to right. So he's like, oh my gosh, this slide is so fun. How have I not been doing this sooner? Yay. And he's going down. Cool, cool. Next, slope of 0. Oops. All right, so for this guy, it's pretty simple, really. Bring that in just a little bit. It's just a horizontal line. Okay, so it's a horizontal line. All right, and if you got a little person, you know what I'm saying, he's just sitting here contemplating life, thinking. All right, but he's not going anywhere, right? He can't, or she, it, they, doggy or person or duck, whoever. You're not going anywhere. You can't go left. You can't go right. You can only sit in one spot if you're on a horizontal slide. That's not a very good slide. Okay, so that'll help you think. You can't go anywhere. You are going 0 velocity, right? 0 speed. You're just sitting in one spot. However, let me use this color even though it's kind of awkward. Okay, for this one, now we have a vertical line. So okay, now for this one, if you got a person who's trying to slide, they are freaking out because I guarantee they're falling down. And they're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? So yeah, that's what's going on here. They can't slide at all. They are falling to their demise. That is undefined slope. Okay, so undefined slope is the very harsh reality that you are not going to make it. Okay, but no, for real though. Like if you were on a slide and it suddenly tipped up, you'd be like, oh crap, this is not good. However, if you were sitting on a slide and it just kind of turned horizontally, you'd be like, oh, that's not fun, but you'd be okay, right? So slope of 0, you're not going anywhere, you're stuck in one spot. Undefined slope, you are quickly falling and it doesn't make sense. Undefined doesn't make sense. Slope of 0 just means you're boring and sitting in one spot. Parallel slopes, just draw you a nice little example here. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna have 1 line, 2 lines, and they're lines because they have arrows. They're not line segments. And the thing about parallel slopes is that they are equal. Okay. So for example, if you had a slope of, so if slope 1, that's a 1, was 2/5, then slope 2 would also be 2/5. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change colors just to reiterate my point. Okay. Oops. All right, so slope 2 will also be 2/5. And I'm going to reiterate my point even further and color this line the same so you can really see that there. Got it? All right, on the other hand, perpendicular slopes. Okay, let's say we still had our 2 fifths. Actually, it's more like 5/2, but you get my point. All right, and then if you had a perpendicular slope, it'd be more like that. Okay. And these have a 90-degree angle between them. Gross. Let's try that again. There we go, 90 degrees. All right, so let's just say, for example, that the slope of this guy is 2 fifths. Then the slope of the purple line would be -5/2. So if you notice, they flip. So they flip and they change sign. All right, and that is negative reciprocal slope. So negative reciprocal slope. And that's what that is. Reciprocal means flip. Negative just means you change the sign. All right, so now some examples. Slope given 2 points. All right, let's go ahead and I'll just use this color, I guess. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and label this x1, y1, x2, gross, x2, y2, and I'm going to write the slope equation, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to write it again. I'll explain why in just a moment. I think it's a very good reason why. You should too. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to switch back over to this color. All right, so y2, what did y2 equal? Okay, y2 was -8, right? So I'm going to erase the y2 and I'm just going to write a -8 there. What was y1? Well, y1 was 5. So I'm going to erase that and I'm going to put a 5, just a regular +5, because that's what it said over there in parentheses right here. All right, and so we're taking care of the -8 and the 5. All right, now x2, let's see, what was x2? x2 was -3, right? It was right there. And then x1, last but not least, was -2. So I'm going to go ahead and put -2. So there, I didn't change the equation. I didn't get confused with the negatives. I just plugged in what went there. All right, now we're going to evaluate. -8 minus 5 is -13. And -3 minus -2, you can, since it's a double negative, change it to positive, plus positive. And so that's going to give you -1. And -13 over -1 is the same thing as just regular 13 or +13. So that's the slope between those 2 points. Now let's try the slope from a graph, which is super cheesy easy. All you got to do is figure out what 2 points you want to use. They already did that for you. Wow, I keep doing the same thing. Okay, they already did that for you right there and right there. So I'm just going to use those 2 points to make a triangle, a right triangle. Stay on the lines. Notice how I went straight down and straight across on the black lines. Now I'm going to go to the top point. It doesn't matter which point you start from. Just pick one. Pick one. Now you're going to count the spaces. 1, 2, 3. So since it was down, down is negative. Then I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2. The right is positive, so that's +2. So again, I'm going to write that up here for your convenience. Down, negative. Up, positive. Left, also negative. Right, positive. Okay? Now that we've got that, I need to identify the rise. So the rise, I'll just use the same color. The rise is always the vertical. The run is always the horizontal. Slope equals rise over run. -3/2. And that is our final slope. Next, we're going to find the slope from equations. So if you look at the first one, it's already in slope-intercept form, which, don't forget, is y equals mx plus b, right? So that means that this is m. Everything lines up perfectly, so we are good to go. M equals 3. If it's already in that form, it's going to be super easy for you. All right, and over here we have standard form. So that is ax plus by equals c. All right, and to find slope in standard form, you have negative a divided by b. So let's see, a is 5, so that's going to be negative 5. And then b is negative 2, so we're going to put negative 2. And so since it's double negative, they cancel out to positive 5 over 2. And that's it.